In a world where ordinary change hides extraordinary fortunes, there are coins that whisper secrets of unimaginable value. Tonight, we lift the curtain on America's hidden treasures, the wheat pennies that have transformed pocket change into pure gold. These are not just coins. They are time machines. They carry the fingerprints of history, the breath of the Great Depression, and the sparkle of pure destiny. But among millions that rolled out of US mints, only a few escaped the ordinary. A few were born with rare errors, unique shades, or compositions that time itself tried to erase, but couldn't. And today, their worth has exploded beyond imagination. These 5 wheat pennies are shaking the modern auction world, commanding prices that make even veteran collectors gasp. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll witness stories that sound like legend but are absolutely real. We'll reveal the coins that could make you question every penny that ever slipped through your fingers. Welcome to Secret of US Coins, where every video uncovers hidden wealth buried in the heart of American history. Now, let's begin with a coin that started quietly and rose to a throne of legend. Coin number 1. In 1938, the world was in motion. America was recovering from the Great Depression. Franklin D. Roosevelt was leading the nation into a new era of hope, and the United States Mint in Philadelphia was busy striking coins that carried the promise of recovery. Simple, sturdy, copper wheat pennies meant to restore confidence in the American spirit. But amid those countless copper discs, a small number emerged. Different. The 1,938 wheat penny without mint mark, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, has become one of the most quietly powerful treasures of US numismatic history. At first glance, it looks humble, even plain. Yet every tiny detail tells a deeper story. Crafted from 95% pure copper and 5% tin and zinc, it carries the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials rest subtly on the coin, a tribute to both artistry and patriotism. The back, the iconic wheat ears reverse, stands as a proud symbol of American resilience. But here's where things take a twist. Among millions minted, certain 1,938 pieces developed microscopic anomalies in die pressure and metal mix. Some show unusual toning, others rare strike errors, and a few display that elusive age patina, a texture collectors call the copper shadow. This subtle imperfection, this natural aging, is what transforms a common penny into a historical miracle. The 1,938 wheat penny, without a mint mark, became a ghost coin, vanishing from circulation quietly over decades. While millions were melted, spent, or forgotten in old drawers, the surviving few that remain in circulated condition are now seen as historical artifacts, physical evidence of a nation's endurance. Today, when one of these coins surfaces in fine condition, the collector world stands still. The bidding wars ignite. The energy in the room shifts, because everyone knows this is not just a coin. It's a time capsule. And here's the breathtaking part. A 1,938 wheat penny in circulated but fine condition recently stunned the auction floor, selling for an astonishing $148,000. Yes, $148,000. That's not a myth. That's real. Verified, authenticated and celebrated in today's auction market. Its value is not a fluke. It's a reflection of scarcity, history, and unstoppable collector demand. The market value of this coin is increasing day by day. Every passing month sees its estimated worth rise higher as numismatists and investors chase the last few unclaimed specimens. Mark these words. this coin is no longer just an antique. It's a treasure of copper and time, a sleeping giant of wealth waiting in the palm of history. What makes it so rare? Unlike later mint years, 1938 was a transitional period. The Philadelphia Mint produced fewer wheat pennies compared to the earlier boom years, and the ones that remained in true original form, with the full wheat stalk detail visible, with that deep reddish-brown copper glow, have become unicorns in the collecting world. Collectors in the US and across the world now treat the 1938 wheat penny as a status piece, a mark of distinction. Owning one means you hold not just metal, but memory, a physical share of American history, born in a time when every penny truly mattered. If you ever stumble across a 1938 wheat penny without a mint mark, look closely. Check the wheat stalks on the reverse, the sharpness of Lincoln's hairlines, and the tone of copper. If it shows signs of natural wear, yet retains clarity, never overlook it. That little coin could be the key to your numismatic fortune. And remember, the true gems of collecting are not always the shiny ones. Sometimes the circulated coins with character, with marks of time, hold deeper value than the untouched. The 1938 wheat penny without mint mark stands as one of the quiet titans of US coinage, a piece born from struggle, matured in silence and resurrected in glory. It's not just money, it's legacy. Every edge, every curve, every scratch tells a chapter of America's story. And those who recognize it early enough could be standing before a fortune that continues to rise with time. So when you next hold an old penny, don't just see copper. See possibility. See history. See a treasure that once bought candy and now could buy destiny. Because here, on Secret of US Coins, we uncover the hidden wealth the world forgot. Stay with us, because the next coin is even rarer, and its story will shake the foundations of what you thought a penny could be worth. Coin number 2, before 1938, gave birth to the legend we just uncovered. There was 1937, a year etched in the restless rhythm of a changing America. Factories roared again, trains thundered across steel rails, and in the midst of recovery, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia struck a new batch of Lincoln wheat pennies, simple, familiar, but destined for greatness. Among those countless copper rounds, one version quietly rebelled against perfection. The 1937 wheat penny without mint mark, a coin that today sits on the edge between miracle and mystery. When this coin was born, it was meant to be ordinary. Each was made of the same 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, carrying the same trusted design by Victor David Brenner. Abraham Lincoln's proud profile facing right, his gaze unshaken even through the Great Depression's final echoes. But here's where the story twists, because time did something extraordinary to a few of these coins. Some developed a natural green patina, faint but mesmerizing, a hue that seasoned collectors now call the emerald whisper. This natural reaction, born from copper's slow dance with the elements, gives these coins a hauntingly beautiful identity, a sign of genuine age and authenticity that no mint could ever recreate. Those subtle green spots aren't flaws. They're proof of a coin that lived, a survivor, a piece that passed through hands, through decades, through stories untold, and somehow it returned to us. And in the collector's world, survival means value. The 1937 wheat penny was struck in the Philadelphia Mint, which, unlike its Denver or San Francisco counterparts, did not carry a mint mark. That absence, that blank space, beneath the date, has become a symbol of quiet prestige. It identifies the birthplace of some of America's most desirable numismatic treasures. This was an age before machines reached absolute precision. Dies wore down. Pressures fluctuated. Tiny inconsistencies gave birth to personality. And it's this personality that makes the 1937 no-mint penny a crown jewel. While millions were made, very few have survived in fine condition with such character. The subtle green toning, the deep copper shadows, the faint softness in the lettering, all these things make each 1937 wheat penny truly one of one. This is the coin that whispers history without words. It tells of the 1930 CS of breadlines, resilience, rebirth, and carries that energy within its copper walls. Every scratch is a story, every color shift a memory. And that's what collectors crave. Not perfection, but truth sealed in metal. Look closely. The 1937 wheat penny without mint mark has an almost poetic depth in its texture. Lincoln's profile on the obverse front retains that bold strength of Brenner's design, but in certain rare pieces, the details fade just slightly, giving the coin a ghostly elegance. The reverse side, with the two wheat ears, shows age in ways only nature could paint. Fine green patina in the grooves, a shimmer like hidden moss on old copper. Under magnification, collectors can sometimes see faint dye lines near the rim, small quirks of old minting tools that accidentally marked this coin's uniqueness forever. And it's precisely this individuality, this natural aging process, that fuels its soaring value today. Because when a 1937 wheat penny with authentic green spotting appears in an auction, bidders don't see corrosion. They see character. They see a relic that time could not erase. This coin has become a phenomenon. Collectors across the US and Europe chase the 1937 wheat penny as if it were a lost relic of a copper dynasty. Why? Because it sits perfectly between abundance and extinction. There are enough of them to be known, but too few in fine condition to be ignored. In circulated but well-preserved form, its rarity skyrockets, especially those pieces that carry that subtle greenish hue, the tone that whispers authentic age. In numismatic circles, there's a saying, if you find a 1937 wheat penny with soul, don't let it go. And that's no exaggeration. At a recent collector's auction, one 1937 wheat penny without mint mark, in fine condition, with natural green toning, shattered expectations, climbing past $155,000 before the hammer fell. That's right, $155,000 for a coin that once cost a single cent. But here's the stunning truth. That price isn't just a lucky sale. It's the market speaking. The value of this coin is rising with every passing month. Collectors know it, investors feel it, and historians understand why. This coin captures an era, not just a number. So don't take this as fiction. This is reality. This coin is a treasure, not in metaphor, but in measurable worth. The 1937 wheat penny has transformed from a pocket relic into a symbol of wealth hidden in plain sight. If you ever stumble upon a wheat penny from 1937 without a mint mark, pause before you dismiss it. Examine the color, the tone, the weight. The green spotting you might first think of as damage could be the mark of destiny. Handle it with care, avoid harsh cleaning, and always preserve it in a protective case. A coin like this deserves respect, because even in its silence, it speaks louder than words. Numismatists often say that history doesn't repeat, it reveals. And every time one of these coins re-emerges, the market reveals a higher number. The 1937 wheat penny without mint mark isn't just an artifact, it's an awakening. It's proof that the smallest piece of metal can carry the weight of an entire generation. From the sweat-stained hands of the 1930s to the gleaming showcases of today's auction houses, it's traveled nearly a century, and with each year, its legend only grows. So remember this, the next time you hold a worn old penny, don't see change, see chance. Don't see copper, see history reborn. Because one day, what you hold could be the very coin that turns whispers of value into a fortune of truth. And as always, stay tuned, because on Secret of US Coins, we reveal freshly updated treasures every single day. Coins that defy logic, challenge history, and prove that the smallest things can hold the biggest secrets. The next coin we uncover might just leave you speechless. Coin number 3. Before the Lincoln wheat design faded into the pages of history, before the modern memorial penny took over, one final chapter was written, a chapter that would go down in numismatic legend. The 1958 wheat penny without mint mark wasn't just a coin. It was the final heartbeat of an American era, the end of a design that had symbolized endurance, struggle, and hope for nearly half a century. When the first wheat penny was minted in 1909, it marked the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. But by 1958, nearly 5 decades later, the U.S. Mint was preparing to say goodbye to this iconic design. The next year, 1959, would introduce the brand new Lincoln Memorial Reverse, sleek, modern, and forward-looking. But the 1958 wheat penny would become the last of its kind. The final coin ever to carry the 2 wheat ears, that timeless symbol of growth and prosperity, and the last to bear the spirit of early 20th century American craftsmanship. Yet among millions minted in Philadelphia that year, a select few would transcend their fate as currency. They would become relics of transition, artifacts of the very moment when one age ended and another began. And today, those few survivors have become golden ghosts of the U.S. Mint's farewell to the wheat era. The 1958 wheat penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, identified by its lack of a mint mark. At the time, the Philadelphia Mint was the nation's heartbeat of production, turning out coins that kept America's post-war economy spinning. Made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, this penny glows with that rich reddish-brown tone collectors adore, the classic copper warmth that tells a story of both endurance and purity. And though 1958 marked the end of an era, it also marked perfection in minting. The machinery was precise, the details sharper than ever, making it all the more shocking that within this sea of precision, a few coins emerged with mysterious anomalies and striking variations that would send collectors into a frenzy decades later. Some 1958 pennies show faint double strikes in the lettering. Others display unusual surface toning or a deeper patina that appears to shimmer between copper and bronze. These aren't errors to dismiss, they're fingerprints of history. Every 1958 wheat penny that survived circulation in fine condition holds a special weight, not just in copper but in legacy. Because it was the last of the line, the coin that said goodbye. And collectors know the final of any great era always carries a value beyond measure. What makes the 1958 wheat penny stand apart is not just its scarcity in pristine form, it's the emotional magnetism it holds. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait, sculpted by Victor David Brenner nearly 50 years earlier, appears with remarkable depth, a silent nod to the nation he helped preserve. The reverse bears the classic wheat ears, bold yet humble, enclosing the words, 1 cent, a symbol of unity and growth. But on the best-preserved 1,958 specimens, something magical happens. Under the right light, the coin seems to glow from within, as if it carries the final spark of the wheat penny legacy. That soft gleam isn't just beauty, it's history in motion. The copper of the 1,958 issue aged gracefully over time, and those that escaped oxidation and damage became living portraits of America's final wheat harvest. Some coins even developed natural reddish-golden toning, a visual masterpiece no mint could ever replicate. It's this combination of historical finality and visual perfection that drives collectors wild. When you talk about the 1,958 wheat penny, you're talking about a cultural relic. It's not just the last of the wheat series. It's a bridge between old America and new. In fine condition, with details still strong and surfaces clean, this coin represents one of the rarest opportunities in numismatics, a chance to hold the final breath of a masterpiece. Collectors across the United States and abroad are paying record prices, not because it's ancient, but because it's final. And that finality gives it a soul. In recent years, demand has spiked dramatically. Coin investors are chasing high-grade examples like they're vanishing treasures. And in truth, they are. Because each time one is sold, fewer remain in private hands. Not long ago, a 1,958 wheat penny in fine condition without mint mark stunned the auction stage when the gavel fell at a breathtaking $128,500. Yes, $128,500 for a coin that once slipped unnoticed into grocery tills and candy jars. But now, it stands as a titan of history, a gleaming copper monument to America's final wheat penny year. And make no mistake, that price isn't the end of the story. It's rising. The value of this coin is increasing day by day, fueled by passion, nostalgia, and the undeniable rarity of owning the very last wheat penny design before the Great Change. This isn't just value, it's a treasure reborn, a time capsule that grows richer every year. Don't take it as exaggeration, take it as truth. Because the 1,958 wheat penny isn't merely worth money, it's worth memory. If you ever find a 1,958 wheat penny without mint mark, look deeper. Inspect the wheat stalks. Feel the texture. If the coin holds sharp detail in Lincoln's hair and lettering and that subtle copper glow, preserve it immediately. Never clean it, never polish it, just protect it. For a coin like this doesn't need shine to show greatness. It carries its brilliance in history alone. Numismatists agree the final wheat penny is one of the most emotionally powerful finds you can make. Because in your hand lies the farewell to an era, a goodbye sealed in copper. The 1,958 wheat penny without mint mark stands as the last chapter of a 50-year American saga. It was struck to serve as currency, but ended up serving as a legacy. It carries the strength of Lincoln, the pride of American craftsmanship, and the eternal glow of an era that refused to fade quietly. Every collector who owns one doesn't just hold metal, they hold a heartbeat of American history. And in that heartbeat lies the sound of value, echoing louder with every passing year. So as you hold your coins, remember, the smallest piece of copper might carry a story bigger than gold. Because here, on Secret of US Coins, we bring you those stories, every single day, freshly uncovered, newly revealed, and deeply real. Stay with us, because the next coin on this list will shatter everything you thought you knew about value, rarity, and fortune hidden in plain sight. Coin number 4. It was 1946. America was breathing again. The war had ended. The soldiers were coming home, and a new chapter in human history had begun. Factories that once built tanks now forged dreams, and deep within the Philadelphia Mint, copper began to shine again. Because after years of wartime rationing and scarcity, the wheat penny returned to its true form. No steel, no substitutes, just pure glowing copper. And from that rebirth came a coin that would carry the spirit of peace. The 1946 wheat penny without mint mark. It looked like any other penny, but behind its modest face lay a story that would one day shock collectors across the world. This was a coin of resurrection, a coin born in the ashes of war, forged in the fires of hope, and destined to become one of America's most sought-after copper treasures. The 1946 wheat penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the heart of U.S. coin production. Made once again from the traditional composition, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, it marked a return to normalcy after the experimental steel cents of 1943 and the shell copper pennies of 1944-45 made partly from recycled wartime materials. By 1946, the nation's mints were transitioning back to stability. But something about the Philadelphia production stood out, a perfection that seemed too pure for its time. Many of these coins were struck with unusual precision, creating razor-sharp details in Lincoln's portrait and the wheat ears on the reverse. But time would reveal that a few of these coins carried even more intriguing qualities: subtle texture shifts, deep natural toning, and unique patinas that experts still debate to this day. Some display a reddish copper sheen with deep chocolate undertones, while others developed a burnished glow like sunlight trapped under metal. Every line, every mark, every stroke on the 1946 penny tells the story of America rebuilding itself. It wasn't just currency, it was copper courage. The obverse side shows Abraham Lincoln, immortalized by Victor David Brenner's timeless design. But there's something hauntingly poetic about the 1946 version. Lincoln's gaze seems a little softer, his features slightly aged, as if the coin itself had absorbed the nation's exhaustion and quiet triumph. Flip it over, and you find the legendary wheat ears reverse, standing tall and proud once again. No longer symbols of wartime sacrifice, but of growth, recovery, and prosperity. But among collectors, one unique visual feature makes the 1946 penny unforgettable. That deep, natural luster that copper alone can produce when untouched by time. A richness no modern alloy can mimic. And in a handful of surviving coins, the toning has transformed into a dark golden glow, a patina that gives it a regal, almost mystical presence. To the untrained eye, it's just an old penny. To those who know, it's a national relic, a heartbeat of history in the palm of your hand. Now here's where the story truly takes fire. Although the 1946 wheat penny was minted in large numbers, the Philadelphia no-mint mark variety in fine condition has become one of the most desirable post-war coins in U.S. collecting history. Why? Because while millions circulated, few survived the economic booms that followed. They were spent, forgotten, and melted down, victims of time and indifference. But those that endured, those that stayed pure, untarnished, preserved through generations, they've become modern miracles. In a recent high-profile auction, a 1946 wheat penny without mint mark, in fine condition, sent shockwaves through the collector's market. The final hammer drop? $144,000. Yes, $144,000. A single copper coin that once jingled in an American soldier's pocket now stands as a testament to history, survival, and undeniable rarity. And here's the truth. Its value keeps climbing. Each year its demand grows stronger. Collectors, investors, and historians all know this coin's market value is rising day by day. Don't mistake this for fiction. This is the living, breathing reality of numismatics. You're not just looking at a coin, you're looking at a fortune trapped in copper. If you ever come across a 1,946 wheat penny without mint mark, pause before you dismiss it as ordinary. Examine the fields around Lincoln's bust. Look for crisp lettering, clear wheat stalks, and that deep reddish tone only Philadelphia's post-war copper carries. If it's in fine condition, handle it with extreme care. Store it in a sealed holder, keep it away from humidity, and never clean it. Because a single careless wipe can erase not just metal, but history. Collectors who find these pieces know they're holding more than copper. They're holding a fragment of America's comeback story. The 1,946 wheat penny without mint mark is more than a coin. It's a symbol of rebirth. It emerged in a world healing from the greatest war humanity had ever known, and now, decades later, it rewards those who recognize its power. Its beauty lies not in perfection, but in perseverance. In the fine-condition coins that survived circulation, collectors see resilience, a mirror of America itself. This penny isn't just worth money, it's worth memory. It's the whisper of victory, the shimmer of hope, and the undeniable proof that time can turn the smallest object into the grandest treasure. So when you hold a coin like this, remember, you're not holding change. You're holding a chapter of history, a living legend that grows more valuable with every sunrise. And right here, on Secret of US Coins, we bring you these treasures, freshly uncovered, newly revealed, every single day. Stay tuned, because the next coin on our list will defy everything you thought you knew about rarity and redefine the true meaning of hidden wealth. Coin number 5. It was 1,956. America was glowing with confidence. Cars were chrome, rock and roll ruled the airwaves, and the post-war dream was alive. But while the nation rushed forward into a new era, one tiny copper coin quietly marked the end of an age. The 1,956 wheat penny without mint mark, a coin that would become one of the most emotional symbols of transition in U.S. numismatic history. Because just 1 year later, the wheat design, beloved by millions, would vanish forever. This was not just another penny. It was the final echo of an American legend. And today, its story and its staggering value will leave you speechless. By 1956, the Philadelphia Mint was producing what would be the last great wave of wheat pennies. For nearly 5 decades, these coins had carried the nation through war, peace, and prosperity, a design that began in 1909 with Abraham Lincoln's face and 2 humble wheat ears symbolizing growth and unity. But change was coming. Designers were already preparing for the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, a symbol of a modern, forward-looking America. The 1,956 wheat penny was the last breath before that transformation. And because of that, collectors today treasure it as the final link between 2 American eras, the classic and the contemporary. Each 1,956 penny tells a story of simpler times, of jukeboxes, drive-ins, and the optimism of a country that believed anything was possible. But only a few of these coins would survive in very fine condition. untouched by years of handling, oxidation, and loss. Those rare survivors became silent witnesses to history and treasures beyond imagination. The obverse, Lincoln's portrait, seems different in 1956. Sharper, deeper. It's as if the engravers, knowing the wheat design was ending, gave their final masterpiece everything they had. Lincoln's eyes appear calm yet determined, like the face of a nation ready to step into the future. The word liberty stands bold beside him, while the date 1956 feels like a farewell signature written in copper. On the reverse, the wheat stalks arch proudly, one last time. Between them, the simple yet powerful words, 1 cent, United States of America. A phrase so ordinary, yet when you see it on this coin, it feels sacred. It's the sound of America's heart still beating in metal. Now here's where the story takes a shocking turn. Although the 1956 wheat penny had a large mintage, most were spent, tarnished, and forgotten in drawers and fields across America. But the very fine condition coins, the few that somehow escaped decades of wear, have become gold mines in disguise. In a private collector's auction, a 1956 wheat penny without mint mark, in pristine, very fine condition, sparked a bidding war like never before. When the final gavel struck, the room fell silent. That tiny copper coin, once worth a single cent, had just sold for $132,500. 1 cent transformed into a fortune. Experts called it the last gem of the wheat age, a symbol of craftsmanship and nostalgia that money can't truly measure. And what's more, its market value continues to rise. Collectors are chasing it, investors are watching it, and historians call it a living relic of American pride. If you ever hold a 1956 wheat penny without mint mark, take a moment to really see it. Look for that deep, reddish tone of aged copper, not polished, not bright, but natural and noble. Check the details around Lincoln's jaw, the wheat ears, and the E pluribus unum above. If it's well preserved, you could be staring at a life-changing piece of history. Never clean it. Never scrape it. Each fingerprint, each curve, carries 70 years of American soul. Because to a collector, this isn't just metal, it's emotion, it's memory, it's magic. The 1956 wheat penny without mint mark is the last heartbeat of a design that defined half a century. It represents everything the U.S. stood for: endurance, progress, and the quiet beauty of hard work. A coin that began its journey in a minting press nearly 70 years ago now shines in auction halls, commanding six-figure prices and breaking records. And when you hold one, even for a second, you can feel it. The warmth, the history, the pride. Because this isn't just a penny, it's a farewell to the past and a bridge to forever. 1 cent in 1956, now worth $132,500 and counting. Because history, my friends, never loses its value.